Shalom, shalom, akiyam. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kwadash. I would also like to give a double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. I would also like to say peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered throughout all four corners of this earth. It's just Bayan back again through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And I just wanted to get into a brief lesson, and Lord willing, share an article with you, Akiyam and Akwaf, going into some information regarding a treaty known as the New START Treaty between the U.S. and Russia, which has recently collapsed. And there was a build-up to it, earlier this year. Moscow pretty much was the first to suspend their ties involving this treaty. Back in March, they pulled away, and Putin mentioned how the reason why they suspended it was because they believed that the U.S. and NATO, were helping the Ukraine, which obviously they were, and they still are. But needless to say, the U.S. has recently backed off as well, which caused this New START treaty to collapse. Lord willing, we can get into some information regarding this treaty, so you, Akiyam and Akwaf, can have the understanding. And why this is important to know, because ultimately this is, again, just more build-up, to that third woe. The tensions are high. We see the spirit, the fierce spirit that Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai has put on Putin, and these other kings of the earth for that matter. The stance, of these other nations towards the West is aggressive. Why? Because we're in the time of war. That's why. Let's get this before we get this article. Let's get this in real quick in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, and verse 8, and it reads, "A time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace." And we're clearly in the time of hate and war, man. World War III is prophecy. And those of us that can see what's happening around us through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, we can clearly see that World War III is building up, man. See? Here it is again. This treaty, which a treaty goes into an agreement. All right, and this was the last treaty that America and Russia had, man. So now they don't agree. You see? And we know, pursuing the biblical prophecy, Gog and Magog, right? The bear, which is Russia, and America are gonna go head to head, along with these BRICS nations against evil E, right? And NATO and the EU. But we understand that the NATO they're gonna turn on America, man. Pursuing the biblical prophecy, they're gonna turn on her, man. Her allies are gonna turn on her. Okay, which is gonna result in 200 million warheads being shot on this landmass, man. You see? Whether you people can believe that or not. This is the end game. All right, for Mystery Babylon the Great. Let's get this article, and it's building up. Hey, the Karagman's on the scene, that grain of rice, right? The MOTB, the mark of the BEAST. You see, Jacob's trouble's coming. You can't forget about that. We see all these train derailments that are happening throughout all of America. So we can see the narrative they're going to push. Because ironically enough, all these trains are carrying deadly chemicals, man. You see? So we can see this bio warfare manifesting. You see that? So when lockdowns come, hey, this time it's going to be a real one. It's going to be a real one this time. Hey, but we need it. Let's go. Hey, we trying to get to the kingdom. Right? So this article is from Zero Hedge, and it's dated March 29th, 2023, which is today, fresh off the press. And the title reads, U.S. to withhold nuclear weapons data from Russia as last treaty collapses. All right, now let's get into this, right? And again, Russia backed off first. As we're gonna read, Russia backed off first. Why? Because they believed that U.S. and NATO were supporting Ukraine, which they were, as we know. Let's continue on. The White House has confirmed what we can call the effective and expected collapse of the New START nuclear treaty between the U.S. and Russia, announcing Tuesday it will no longer provide data on its nuclear arsenal under the treaty's stipulated terms. Moscow has already suspended its participation on March 1st, see? But still said it will remain in compliance with nuclear weapons caps under the agreement. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby said the decision was made due to Russia being in violation, but still held out hope that the U.S. punitive measure could push Moscow to return. Not gonna happen. Why? Because it's not gonna work that way. We're in the time of your visitation. Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai has put a spirit of war on the kings of the earth. Okay, starting with Putin, man. This is why his stance, okay, is so militant. And he's not backing down. You see, because he's doing the will of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. This is why they pulled off. This is why they backed off first. You see, this is why the BRICS nations are coming together and many other nations want to join. See? We obviously would like to see Russia back in New START in full compliance. Russia refused to share data, which we agreed in New START to share biannually. See, Russia refused to share its data because they're locking and loading, man. Those stipulations weren't realistic for how Russia's getting down. And there was an article, there was some information that came out not too long ago. The beloved brother Yasha Math actually brought it out, going into how Russia, man, they're making weapons around the clock. Around the clock, man. See? Russia refused to share data, which we agreed in New START to share biannually. Since they have refused to be in compliance with that particular modality of New START, we have decided to likewise not share that data. Kirby said, we would prefer to be able to do that, but it requires them to be willing as well, and they're not willing. You see? Russia, along with all these other nations, are fed up. And Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai is putting the spirit of war on them, man. See? Hey, it's about to be showtime. Let's get this New START treaty real quick. This is from the U.S. Department of State, right? So this New START treaty, all right, this is its structure, right? The treaty between the United States of America and the Russian Federation on measures for the further reduction and limitation, see, of strategic offensive arms. So there's under this treaty, there's a limitation. See, in Russia, Why do you think they didn't share their information? Because they're around the clock. They're building these weapons around the clock, man. Why? Because it's in efforts to fulfill biblical prophecy, man. Hey, them 200 million warheads got to come from somewhere, and they're not the only ones that are doing it. You better believe that. Let's continue on. Let's start from the top. The treaty between the United States of America and the Russian Federation on measures for the further reduction and limitation of strategic offensive arms, also known as the New START Treaty, enhances U.S. national security by placing verifiable limits on all Russian deployed intercontinental range nuclear weapons. Putin's not having no limit. You see, the United States and the Russian Federation have agreed to extend the treaty through February 4th, 2026. But that's not going to happen now, as we just read in the article that just came out today. It collapsed. This agreement we're reading into right now, this treaty, it collapsed. Why? Because we're coming into a time where the hammer of the earth is about to be broken, as it's written in Jeremiah 50. Let's grab that real quick and come right back to this treaty, Lord willing. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, and verse 23, and it reads, "How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations?" And this is not talking about ancient Babylon, all right? Because you have three Babylons, man. You have ancient Babylon, or Babel, okay? The time of Nimrod, right? You have the Neo-Babylonian Empire, right, under Nebuchadnezzar. And then you have a mystery Babylon the Great, which is where we are living right now, under these Edomites, man. You see? Mystery Babylon the Great, a.k.a. America. This is what this is talking about. This is prophecy. How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations? And it's going to be by way of those intercontinental ballistic missiles. Why do you think America was going out of their way, right, to have a treaty, with Russia? Because they know Russia got that power. You see? Russia got that power, man. And pursuing the biblical prophecy, it's going to be Russia leading the charge, okay, to root this place out. But don't get it twisted. Russia got a visitation from the divine one as well, man. Russia's not going to go unscathed or unharmed, nor these other heathen nations, man. No, they're just being used, okay, by Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, all right, to judge Babylon, man. Let's continue on, right? The strategic offensive limits. The New START Treaty entered into force on February 5th, 2011. Under the treaty, the United States and the Russian Federation had 7 years to meet the treaty's central limits on strategic offensive arms by February 5th, 2018, and are then obligated to maintain those limits for as long as the treaty remains in force. You see, so this treaty put limits and statutes and limitations on you as far as your nuclear weapons program. You see? But notice how Putin and them backed up out of that. Why? Because it's not the will of the Lord. It's not the will of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. It's not his will. You see? Let's get a little more. Aggregate limits. Both the United States and the Russian Federation met the central limits of the New START Treaty by February 5th, 2018 and have stayed at or below them ever since those limits. Okay, these were the limits here. I'm not going to read them. You Akim and Akwath can read them. I want to jump down right here. Right? New Start limits. Okay? New Start limits all Russian deployed intercontinental range nuclear weapons, including every Russian nuclear warhead that is loaded onto an intercontinental range ballistic missile that can reach the United States in approximately 30 minutes. You see, so this technology is real. For all you naysayers out there. Putin already made a threat back a couple of months ago. I believe it was maybe a representative. One of those Russians over there had mentioned how if they send one Satan, one of those Satan missiles, whether it's a Satan 2, right? It can take out the East Coast, man. If they send 2, it'll take the whole coastline out. You see? This is what they were talking. And it's realistic. These weapons can reach over here, man. North Korea got something that can reach over here now as well. It also limits the deployed Avangard and the underdevelopment Sarmat, the 2 most operationally available of the Russian Federation's new long-range nuclear weapons that can reach the United States. So they have an arsenal of missiles that can reach over here, man. Extending New Start ensures we will have verifiable limits on the mainstay of Russian nuclear weapons that can reach the U.S. homeland for the next 5 years. As for the most recent data exchange on September 1st, 2020, the Russian Federation declared 1,447 deployed strategic warheads, right? You got 144, Kala, Yal, Bashim, Yal, Shai, right? The Russian Federation has the capacity to deploy more than 1,550 warheads on its modernized ICBMs and SLBMs, as well as heavy bombers, but is constrained from doing so by New Start. And then they're no longer constrained or restricted. You see? Why? Because this New Start treaty collapsed, as we read in the article. They're no longer constrained, man, from doing so. You see? Hey, this thing is building up. Let's go back to that Jeremiah. Let's continue on in Jeremiah 50 and 24. I have laid a snare for thee, right? A snare is a what? A trap. See, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai has laid a trap for Babylon, man. I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord. See that? These damn devils have done everything in their power to fight against our power and his people. But Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai has a visitation ordained for you for the controversy of Zion, man. And for his great name's sake, man. See? Your visitation is imminent, man. Once Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai lets those angels loose, it's over with. Let's go to Revelations, the 9th chapter, real quick. And it's built. Hey, this thing is building up. The book of Revelation, chapter 9. And I'm going to start at verse 13. It reads, and the 6th angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the 4 horns of the golden altar, which is before Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, saying to the 6th angel, which had the trumpet, loose the 4 angels, which are bound in the great river Euphrates. And the 4 angels were loose, which were prepared for an hour. and a day, and a month, and a year, for to slay the third part of men. And who's the third part of men? You have 3 classifications of men. All right, you have the sons of Yasha Allah, the sons of God. Okay, Yasha Allah. Okay, our so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay, you got the sons of men. All right, these heathen nations. All right, and then you have the son of perdition. Okay, which are these Edomites, men, women, and children. You see, the third part of man, the base man. Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Okay, that's the third part of man that's gonna be put down. You see, and them 4 angels are holding back that wind, man. All right, when you read it, you can read about that in Revelations. And this is going into the missiles, man. Let's jump to Revelation 7 real quick. Right here, the book of Revelation, chapter 7 and verse 1, and it reads, "And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind shall not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree." And again, this wind are these missiles, man. You see, let's get one more precept to make that point. Let's go back to Jeremiah 50 and 1. Or is it 51? It's 51. Salakia. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 51 and verse 1, and it reads, "Thus saith the Lord, behold, I will raise up against Babylon." See that? And again, this is talking about mystery Babylon the Great. It's not talking about the ancient Babylon nor Neo Babylon. This is talking about mystery Babylon the Great, aka America. "Thus saith the Lord, behold, I will raise up against Babylon, and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me, a destroying wind." Okay? And this is the missiles, get a little more. "And will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her, and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about." Why? Every nation shoot at her. Every nation that what? That bends the bow. You see? These are the weapons of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai's indignation, man. There's no escaping this judgment. No treaty. No no sanction. Nothing's gonna prevent this day. No, you devils got a date with destiny, man. Hey, all this blood of the saints that's on this land, it's gotta be repaid. Okay? It's gotta be repaid. Let's continue on in the book of Revelation chapter 9. Where did I leave off? Let's read this again, verse 15. Verse 16 is my point. The book of Revelation chapter 9 and verse 15, it reads, "And the 4 angels, okay, and the 4 angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour, and a day, and a month, and a year, for to slay the third part of men. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. Do the math on that. All right, 200 million warheads, man. And remember, these missiles hold multiple warheads at the tip of them. Okay? It's the warheads that do the damage, man. That are at the tip of these missiles, man. These things break away in 3 to 4 sections, man. With all the power, death, and destruction being in the warheads, man. At the tip of the missile, at the head of the missile. Right? "And I heard the number of them." See that? John the Revelator heard the number of them, man. Man. Hey, biblical prophecy. No way around it. And it's unavoidable. It's unavoidable. This is an unavoidable judgment that Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai has ordained, okay, for mystery Babylon the Great. Hey, it's all over the scriptures. Let's get another one. Let's go to Revelations, the 17th chapter. Proving that her allies are going to turn on her, man. The book of Revelations, chapter 17. And I'm going to read from 18 up to 16. And it reads, "And the woman which thou sawest is that great city," right? Mystery Babylon the Great. The whore that sits on many waters, man. "Which reigneth over the kings of the earth," right? This is why America's always what? Pushing sanctions on people. This is why this whore gets the last say. Because right now, she's the golden cup in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai's hand. You see? "For Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai hath put it in their hearts," right? In their minds, "to fulfill his will." See, it's all about Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai's will. Okay, he's the puppet master. He's the movie director. He's controlling this movie, man. And everybody in it. Right? "And to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai shall be fulfilled." You see? And remember, he puts his word over his name, man. See, his word's going to be fulfilled. This is going to come to pass. Yeah, you can put your life on it. Right? Verse 16. "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast," right? The 10 horns consist of what? The NATO and the EU. Right? And remember, the beast, evil E, America, Babylon the Great, this whore, rides upon the beast. Controlling the whole situation. Right? "These shall hate the whore." Right? "And shall make her desolate and naked." How? How, Lord? "And shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire." See? Her allies are going to turn on her, man. And there's no way around it. Let's get another one proven. Now let's go to Obadiah. This place is doomed, man. And everybody in it, except for the elect. Lord willing, we're part of that precious number. Hey, this is why we tell you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans to repent and seek the Lord while he may be found. We telling y'all, we warning you. You know? But hey, it's going to play out the way it's going to play out. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai has forsaken the children of his wrath, man. Roughly paraphrasing Jeremiah, the 7th chapter. And I believe that's the 29th verse. The book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 7, and it reads, "All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee." You see? So those that ain't confederate with you, hey, they're deceiving you. They're doing they're doing behind the scene deals. You see? They're doing things without you being aware of it. Okay? They're allies with your enemies, man. And you don't even know it. "The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee." See, they're going to prevail against you. Just like in Jeremiah 49, it goes into how this place is going to be taken. When the Lord sends the nations from the north and the assembly of nations with them. Right? Consisting of Russia, the BRICS nations, you see, and all their allies, man. This place is going to be taken, man. They're going to prevail against you. See? "They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him." You see, there's going to be a deadly wound. Okay? That's going to be afflicted to this place by means of those ICBM missiles. And this place is no longer going to be called tender and delicate. Let's close out right here. Okay? No longer will this place be called tender and delicate. No. All that innocent blood is going to be redeemed, man. All the blood of our so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans is going to be redeemed. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is going to wreak havoc on this land, man. That judgment is coming. The book of Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 1, and it reads, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon." And that dust represents confusion. And you people are going to be in utter confusion when you hear those war horns, those missile horns going off in the city or town near you. Okay? And you're getting those messages on your phone telling you to seek a bunker within 15 minutes to 30 minutes, or you're going to be eviscerated. You see? Hey, and your daughter comes after you, man. Okay? Your daughter comes after you, O virgin daughter of Babylon. This is talking about Mystery Babylon the Great, a.k.a. America, man. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, right? You're not no longer exalted, okay, on the high seat. No, now you're going to sit down on the ground, all right, and play your role as a servant, which you are. Okay, you were built to serve. What scripture say? What's Genesis, the 25th chapter. The older shall serve the younger. You were built to serve, man. You sit on the ground, okay? There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, okay? Which is another buzzword for America. You see? For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Why? Because this whore is going to be spread wide open by those ICBM missiles, man, which are on the scene, okay? This is not far-fetched for you scoffers and scorners and unbelievers out there, man. Okay, these deadly weapons are sitting in silos as I speak. You see? And they're not going to be left as memorabilia in the museum. No. Pursuing the biblical prophecy, these things are going to be shot into the ends of the world, man, which is right here. And you better just hope and pray that you're not on this landmass when they stop moving, man. Because if you are, hey, you can kiss your ass goodbye, man. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. Lord willing, you Akiyam and Akwaf were edified. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kal Halalim La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kwadash. Shalom.